3 game threes in the wild card series. And it's amazing because in the 3 previous years we've had this, it's a small sample still, but 10 of the 12 series ended in sweeps. And we've never seen in this format so far since 2022 a team that lost game 1 win a series. 3 chances for that to happen today, and I'm really looking forward to it. Any baseball fan has to be excited beyond belief for the winner-take-all afternoon and evening ahead.
I tell you what, I haven't left my couch other than to do this show. The last couple of days have been great, Ken, and today is going to be even more fun. Let's get to it. Let's start with the first of the games that we want to talk about. Of course, the Yankees and the Red Sox. You can't draw it up better.
No, you can't. And I don't know what the rookie pitcher starting for both teams says about the state of the sport or the state of these franchises, but it's going to happen. Connolly early for the Red Sox, Cam Schlittler for the Yankees. These two guys combined 18 major league starts, 14 of them by Schlittler. And they're basically guys who were not necessarily top prospects coming out of the draft. Schlittler was a 7th rounder, I believe, out of Northeastern in 2022. And Connolly early was a 5th rounder out of Virginia in 2023. These guys are young guys, and they're going to be on this amazing stage in the biggest rivalry, or one of the biggest rivalries in the sport. And you see right there Sarah Lang's tweet about how Connolly early will be the youngest Red Sox pitcher to start a postseason game since Babe Ruth in 1916. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out, and also interesting to see how the bullpens are after being pretty heavily used, at least in the Red Sox case last night. And with the Yankees, Bednar and Williams and Cruz all pitched both of the games so far. So it's going to be a wild one, and we're going to see how this all evolves with the 2 rookies on the mound tonight.
Ken, whose bullpen is favored if you have to think about it? When you look at the fact that there is some pretty heavy usage, as you just mentioned, for both of these clubs in this game, who do you think has the advantage in terms of coming down to the pen?
I actually would say the Red Sox, and for a couple of reasons. One, as you see right there, they didn't use Chapman and Weissert last night. And Kyle Harrison's not really a reliever, but yes, they did not use Chapman, did not use Weissert. Yes, Alex Cora did cover 5 2/3 innings with 6 relievers, but the Yankees bullpen has been less trustworthy down the stretch and even in game 1. So I would definitely go with the Red Sox, but at the same time, the fact that they were used so heavily last night, you see the Yankees usage, Bednar, Cruz, and Williams, as we said, not terribly high pitch counts, but they were used each of the last 2 days. And you rarely see relievers during the season go 3 straight. So I give the edge to the Red Sox, even though last night was not something that they wanted to go the way it did. They were trying to steal the game by pulling Bayo after 28 pitches. But at the same time, while Garrett Whitlock almost certainly will be down after 47 pitches, you've got Chapman ready to go, probably for more than 1 inning.
Yeah, Alex Cora certainly wasn't taking any chances with Brian Bayo on the hill. Any chance, Ken Rosenthal, that both Jazz Chisholm Jr. and Ben Rice are out of the lineup today in Game 3?
Well, Aaron Boone basically has already said that Jazz Chisholm Jr. is in the lineup, and I expect Ben Rice is going to be in the lineup too. Now, we all know what happened in Game 1 when Boone benched those 2 guys because they were facing Garrett Crochet. Against Garrett Crochet, one of the top left-handers in the sport, a guy who's extremely difficult for left-handed hitters, you do that. You play your right-handed hitters. Connolly early is not Garrett Crochet, and if you hold back Rice, let's say you start Goldschmidt to get the immediate platoon advantage, because the Red Sox have so many left-handers in their bullpen, you might never get Ben Rice in the game with the platoon advantage. So start the game with him. If you need Goldschmidt late against one of the lefties, okay, maybe you do that. But I would expect to see Rice as well as Chisholm.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. All right, let's go on to the second game of the day, the Padres and the Cubs, the NL showdown, if you will, for the DS, at least that bracket of the division series, now that the Dodgers have moved on, beating the Reds. Darvish versus Jameson, Taillon. We know, Ken, that the strength of the Padres is their bullpen, but first let's talk about the starting staff for the Friars. Who has the advantage?
Taillon's been pitching really well, had a good September. Darvish can be great on any given day. So I'm not exactly sure who has the advantage. The Cubs lineup to me is somewhat questionable. The Padres lineup to me is somewhat questionable. The Padres, I don't really quite get why they're not better offensively. They've got superstar type players, and yet they have struggled in certainly the power department this season. So the real question for me, because this game too will be managed quite aggressively, and we saw yesterday Mike Schilt pull Dylan Cease pretty quickly. The real question will be the bullpens. And the Cubs bullpen has been very good, one of the more underrated elements of any team in this postseason. But the Padres bullpen, of course, is the best in the sport. And here is where my concern is. Miller and Morejon. Miller, 40 pitches the last 2 games. Again, not a crazy amount. Morejon, 42 the last 2. Third straight day for both. I am sure Mike Schilt will deploy them. Mason Miller is one of the amazing weapons in this sport right now. But again, you wonder if fatigue comes into play, because when you have bullpen games, and we've seen this so often, and our friend Brian Kenny loves it. He loves 9 relievers a game. Well, the problem with that scenario is every one of those guys has to be good. And when one reliever fails, then the whole thing kind of collapses. So that is something to watch there. I want to see PCA have a good game here. PCA has been chasing like crazy the whole season, and he has been kind of not much of a factor so far. We'll see what happens here. Manny Machado rose up big yesterday with that home run, and he continues to amaze me as a player. I know people might not understand this or believe me, but he actually is one of my favorite players to watch. He is a guy that, yes, can carry a team in this kind of circumstance. He's 0 for 6 going into that at bat yesterday in the series. Big 2-run homer.
Yeah, and he was very honest when he was being interviewed in the dugout. I believe it was Jesse Rogers, and he said, listen, I know that I've not been that great offensively, but I tell you what, that 2-run home run can turn the tide quickly. Okay, the Tigers and the Guardians. It's the first game of the day by time, but it's the third one that we're talking about here. Slade Ciccone, which I just want to say his name, going up against Jack Flaherty, Ken, as far as the starting staff is concerned. Who has the advantage here in this AL Central matchup?
I have no idea from a starting pitching standpoint which team has the advantage. Now, Slade Ciccone is a really interesting guy to me. The Guardians acquired him for Josh Naylor. And at the time, you thought, for Josh Naylor, that's what you're getting? A guy who hasn't really accomplished much in the majors. And Josh Naylor was a potential free agent making a lot of money. His trade value at that time wasn't that great. But what did the Guardians do with Slade Ciccone? They did with him what they've done with so many pitchers. You can name one after another. They turned him into something, and he's been very good for them, along with all of their other starters down the stretch. Jack Flaherty, we saw him last year in the postseason. We've seen him this year for Detroit. You do not know what you're getting on any given day. He has really good numbers against the Guardians, 2.18 ERA in 7 starts against them the past 2 seasons. All but one of those starts was for the Tigers. The other was for the Dodgers. He can be really good, and the Guardians' offense is challenged. But at the same time, we saw the Guardians rise up again yesterday. I don't put anything past them. And in this game today, it's interesting as well. The Tigers have made a pretty significant lineup change.
Yeah.
They are elevating to the top of their lineup Gleyber Torres. He had been hitting second. They're dropping Parker Meadows all the way down to 9th, moving Wenzel Perez up from 6th to 3rd as well. So A.J. Hinch clearly looking for more offense, and we'll show you another reason or a graphic here that explains why. Because offensively in this series, as down the stretch, this team has not been very good. Look at the runners in scoring position numbers. 2 for 23 combined in the 2 games. Ton of guys left on base, not many hits. So the Tigers clearly looking for something today. A.J. Hinch pulled an unconventional move yesterday, pinch hitting for Riley Green, his leading power threat. He did it with Jahmai Jones. Didn't work, but he's going to be aggressive. He was aggressive yesterday. He was going to be and is aggressive already today with the lineup change.
Do they have enough pitching, Ken, moving forward? I know that the Guardians and the Tigers both have struggled offensively, of course, and we'll make this quick here. I know we had to get to Grill and Ken, but do the Guardians, aside from Williams, and do the Detroit Tigers, aside from Tarek Skubal, have enough pitching?
The Guardians do, and I am not worried about their pitching. Bybee was really good yesterday. Ciccone, Cantillo, all of these guys that they're running out there, Logan Allen, name them right down the line. They've all been very good. And their bullpen as well, very good. What I worry about is more the Tigers' end of this. And the pitching chaos that they thrived on last year, yes, they've got Skubal at the top, and he gives you a chance in any series, of course. But what about Flaherty? What about Casey Mize, who was decent yesterday? You wonder exactly just if they can piece it together the way AJ Hinch has done so skillfully in the past.